Here we go. Another great night in the Commonwealth of Virginia with the best damn sports talk show in town. Here we go. Good evening, gentlemen. It is a pleasure to be with you all yet again. Hope everybody can join us and have some lively comments. Let me start off by introducing our fellas. My favorite Fox alumni, David Burnett. How you doing, David?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to the Big Ten championship game this Saturday between the number 1 and number 2 teams in the nation. Never been done before. Never been done before. Unprecedented that Indiana is in this game.
Well, that's a great segue.
I like that word, David.
That's a great segue to the alumni who never stops repping his alma mater, Chuck Snowden. Chuck, how you doing?
Greg, I'm doing well. It's Indiana week. We're pumped up. Not only do we play for the championship on Saturday in Indianapolis, Davidstown, but the basketball team, which is undefeated, plays Louisville earlier in the day in Indianapolis as well. So it's a big weekend in Indianapolis for the Hurricane Hoosiers. So
it's a Hoosier day. It's a Hoosier day. What can anybody say? And as always, the inimitable voice of reason, Larry Abels. How you doing tonight, Larry?
I'm good, Greg. How about yourself?
I couldn't possibly be better on a Wednesday night. All right, we got a lot to get to tonight. Let's start off with the NFL. Another topsy-turvy weekend in the NFL, and I can tell you, I love it by the pound. I love to see the upsets. I love the challenges. I love the surprises. But I got 4 games I want us to focus on. Let's start off with the Chiefs and Cowboys. David, what you think of that game?
Well, I think the Chiefs are done. They had a chance to win that game, didn't get it done. It was Mahomes versus Prescott. Dallas, you got to give Dallas some credit. I'm not a Dallas fan. I used to be when I was a little boy and stupid. But the Cowboys are better than I thought. And Dak Prescott, he's not just a $60 million man. He's actually a winner from time to time.
I love that caveat from time to time. Chuck, what do you think of the Chiefs-Cowboys game?
You know what? I agree with David. Look, we think Jerry's crazy and doesn't know what he's doing and doesn't have his hands on the wheel and maybe too old to do this job anymore. The move he made to get this kid Pickens, and Quinnen Williams in the middle, along with that guy Kevin in the middle, they beat the Chiefs and the Eagles in a 4-day span, and those guys were in the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
I think you got to keep an eye on the Cowboys. They are coming. I think they've won 3 in a row or something. And I am just – this game tomorrow night against the Lions, it's going to be a good game. So, and back to your point about the game. It was a really good game. It could have gone either way. The Chiefs were respectable. But I just think Dak didn't get sacked. And Clowney and Quinnen and Kevin and those guys, they sacked Mahomes a couple times, and I thought that was the difference.
So to Chuck's point, Larry, are we burying the headline when we don't talk about the Cowboys defense first?
I think they played okay against Kansas City. I think their headline is their offense. Oh. I mean, that's what's going to keep them in games. I think both of those teams will have still a challenge to get into the playoffs, but I got to take my hats off to the Cowboys. They're playing very well. I think Kansas City has played well in a lot of games, but last year they were like 12-0 in one score games. This year they're losing them. Big difference.
Yeah, I tell you, and I've mentioned this on the show before. I remember when Quinnen Williams was with the Jets and they were on Hard Knocks. I couldn't get enough of him. He is something special, and I don't think, folks, because the Jets are so outside the mainstream, I don't think people knew how much of a difference Q could make on that defense. He's a beast. He is a real beast.
You could run against Dallas before that trade. You can't really run against Dallas like that anymore. And Larry's right. Those 2 receivers, Lamb and Pickens, and of course Dak is a professional, quality, real good quarterback. The line is blocking, and he went 12-3, 12-5 in the 3 years in a row in regular season. It's not his regular season; it's his postseason.
It's the playoffs. Well, to quote David Chappelle, word. All right. So the most bizarre game that I thought I watched this weekend was the Bears and the Eagles. I don't know what to say about the Eagles. David, what are your thoughts on that game and the Eagles in general? I guess?
The Eagles have become dysfunctional, and that's the best way I can describe it. They had a wide receiver who wasn't happy with his production. The defense can't stop anybody from time to time, and Jalen Hurts, he's playing no better than a pedestrian quarterback right now, and he's better than that. He's been better. I think the Eagles are just poised to fade away. They might make the playoffs, and if they do, they'll be a one and done.
Listen.
But let me add real quick. I didn't mention the Bears. The Bears are better. The Bears are better this year. They've got a good coach. Williams is playing pretty well at quarterback. They got some talent, and the Bears shouldn't be ignored. They're leading the NFC North, and that's not an accident. That's not an accident.
So to that point, it was hard to gauge the Bears against the Commanders. I was at that game, but it just occurred to me the Bears moved the ball down the field on the Commanders really, really, really easily, like almost with ease. And I couldn't figure out, are the Bears that good or are we just that bad? I think it was both, right? I think it was both.
Chuck, Washington was turning the ball over that day. They should have won that game.
This is true.
Giving them the ball.
And remember, we had to beat them with a Hail Mary last year, so Chuck, what you think about that game, Chuck?
Again, I want to piggyback on David. David makes a good point. I think that coach has improved that team. I don't think that Caleb Williams is setting the world on fire at the quarterbacking spot. He's okay. He's better than he had been in previous years. But you said it earlier again how it happened against Washington. That offensive line. They picked somebody from Cincinnati. They picked somebody from Kansas City to join that line, and they're just running the ball down people's throats. I mean, the Eagles pride themselves with Jalen Carter and those cats up front, and both the running backs in that game against the Eagles in Philly had over 120 yards. Both running backs. Which was amazing. So whatever Ben Johnson is doing, whatever his scheme is, whatever – it's working, and they're 9-3. They look good, so kudos to him and the execution of the plan. And I too don't understand. I'll never understand why Saquon's not getting. I just don't get it. How that guy could be so good last year and stink, and the whole situation stinks this year.
It's pretty bizarre. So Larry, it's kind of bizarre to me that when a team loses a game, I don't know if I've ever heard this before, that the offensive coordinator's house gets egged. I mean, it's a non-football story.
Stuff like that happens in Philadelphia. It's happened to other coaches in baseball, the same thing, or players that leads in the World Series, their houses get egged. That's Philadelphia. Hey, but the thing about Philadelphia, their problem is on the offensive side of the ball. They lost this game 25-15. The last game they won, I want to say it was like 16-7, and then they 16-10. They haven't scored more than 16 points in the last 3 games. Offensively, what I see is teams are using a 5-man front. They're daring them to throw the ball, and they have no imagination with their wide receivers. They don't put them in motion or anything like that. They went up. We can run it down your throat. They got up 21-0. Dallas, the other team, when they played Dallas a couple of weeks ago, they made adjustments, couldn't score anymore that day. But other than that day, the other 3 games they played, they scored 16-7. Their offense is sorry, and they think that they could just line up and just beat you, and they can't do that.
Yeah, and you would think they would have caught on by now that you can't just be the Green Bay Packers with Paul Hornung and running Green Bay power sweep, and we know what you're gonna do, but you can't stop us. This ain't that. Larry, I'm gonna stay with you because I love where you're going with this. In the Texans-Colts game, that game to me was an exhibition of defense from those doggone Texans. What were your thoughts on that game?
Texans are playing very well. Indianapolis's quarterback doesn't have lateral movement right now. He's playing with a broken bone in his leg. So I'm lining up to really, which I would do anyway, to jump on Taylor And if you can keep him in check and put some pressure on Jones, he can't move laterally. I think any quarterback is going to be in trouble there. That defense has played well the last 3 or 4 weeks. They've been coming on, and now their offense is starting to pick it up a little bit. I don't think anybody really wants to face the Texans right now.
I know I wouldn't. And I got to believe that Hunter, number 55, and Anderson, 51, are two of the best edge rushers on the same team in the league. I mean, these boys pin their ears back and they get after it.
Cause problems, especially if you can't move laterally.
Yeah, you know, and
even if you can.
Yeah, even if you can. I mean, they're like a leopard, man. They get up on you. They get up on you pretty fast. Chuck, what you think of that game?
Come on, you guys. You know what I think. It started 4 weeks ago, and I told you they weren't that good. Their schedule was such that the early part of their year, they were taking advantage of that schedule, and kudos to them. They won a lucky game with Denver. They won an overtime game in Atlanta. You know Daniel Jones ain't a big-time quarterback. Come on, stop that.
Indiana Jones.
And hold on. So in that game, and the Texans' defense is ferocious. They're ferocious. Yeah. And so you can blame it on the lateral movement, but 2 weeks in a row now, Jonathan Taylor has not – he ran okay, but he hasn't had 100 yards in the last 2 weeks. And remember, 3 weeks ago, you guys wanted to make him the Offensive Player of the Year and put Daniel Jones on the MVP list. Not so much. And by the way, they got 2 games left with the Jags, another game with the Texans, and a game with Seattle. Good luck.
So Chuck, why do you think? Let me stay with you for 1 second. Why do you think the running back? Why is he struggling to get 100 yards? Why is he? What's happening?
They, like Larry said earlier about Saquon, they put 5, 6 guys, and they stop. They go, no, we'll dare Daniel Jones to beat us. We'll dare it. We'll go man to man on the corners, and we'll just try to stop the run, which is smart. And so I think that's what's happening.
All right, David, give us the Colts view. What's going on?
The Colts are struggling. It's just that simple. And you got a quarterback with a broken leg. He's reverted back to being Daniel Jones instead of Indiana Jones. The running back, I like him. The problem with his game is he's not getting enough carries. That's the problem. His yards per carry are okay, 4 and 5 yards a carry. He's still getting that, but you've got to hand him the ball. Jonathan Taylor has to get the ball more often, and they're going to have to depend on it. The Texans have a strong defense. They finally found out what their strengths are, and they're doing it without the quarterback, their starting quarterback. They played well, but they've got a defensive-minded coach who's a leader, and you can't count the Texans out. The Colts, they played Jacksonville this weekend. They always lose to Jacksonville. The last time that they beat Jacksonville for the season was 2014. They're going to find a way to lose to Jacksonville at least one of the 2 times that they play this year. That's a guarantee. Put my 1 cent on it. That's all I can really say about that. The Colts are struggling. The Texans are on the ascendant.
I've seen the last few games with the Colts. I think they need to try to get Taylor the ball like on some screen passes in the flat or something like that. If you can get him in some space, but they haven't even tried that yet. And like David said, they don't seem to get him the ball enough. But I would definitely try to get him out in some space a little bit.
Well, the problem with that is he's not reliable on screen passes and short passes. He tends to drop the ball. Now, he's still a great running back. He's still arguably the best running back in football. But getting him some short passes, I don't think that's the answer.
I'm just talking about screens because they have him boxed in the last couple of games.
He's got to hold on to the ball. He's got to hold on to the ball. He drops too many passes.
I would just try it because they got him bottled up trying to stay between the tackles.
He's still averaging 4 or 5 yards a carry though.
In that drive, they had the ball on that last drive, and they just couldn't get a first down. Yeah. They had 3rd and whatever, and then they had 4th and whatever. That's, again, I hate to pick on them, but that's when your quarterback, he just got to make the special quarterbacks have to make those.
Well, let's look at it this way. If Daniel Jones was not dealing with a broken leg, he would be a possible option to run the ball.
Good
He's
point.
not a bad runner.
He's
He's fairly
That
mobile.
was out of
His mobility is out.
Yeah.
And that would make, so you can target Jonathan Taylor if the quarterback who can run from time to time can't run.
That's a
And
very good point.
Anthony Richardson, who could be used, unfortunately, is still not off of IR. This would be a good time to bring Anthony Richardson in for some running relief at quarterback.
Well, who is your backup quarterback?
Who knows?
Wow.
I know my memory is not good enough anymore to tell you immediately without looking at my notes, and my notes are scribbled.
Okay.
So
that's a good point you just made with Richardson's size and strength to put him in sometimes for to run if the offense breaks down.
He would be great. That would be a great option, an idea that they can't utilize at this point.
Right.
So it's a big risk having Daniel Jones on the field right now, because if he goes down, if this leg injury gets worse, they're pretty much done. I mean,
I think they're pretty much done as it is. The way he's playing,
the schedule,
he needs to be able to use his legs as a threat. And
you
they're
lost
no longer
Sauce
a threat.
too. You lost your corner too. He's out for a couple weeks.
So Riley Leonard is their backup. Riley Leonard.
Riley Leonard. He's nobody.
Yeah.
He's
a
That's
rookie.
a name I haven't heard before. Okay.
No, he's a backup because the other guys are injured reserve.
Okay. So David, I'm gonna stay with you because you mentioned something about we're talking about running quarterbacks, moving around. One of the things that really Bo Nix did really well against the Commanders was he used his feet, he used his legs really well. That was a heartbreaking game for the Commanders. I mean, not that there's a whole lot on the line for us these days, but what were your thoughts on that game?
I feel badly for the Commanders. They're not a bad team. They got to play the backup quarterback who used to be a relatively good quarterback. But the Broncos are a strong team. And the fact that the Commanders took it all the way to the end with the last second interception is actually a good sign for them. But the Broncos are better. Well, Broncos what are they? 10 straight games that they won?
No, that was New England.
Yeah,
New England. Well, they're 10-2.
Yeah, there's. I mean, I was impressed, not amazed. I was impressed at how scrappy the Broncos are. Their defense is really scrappy. I hadn't really looked at their defense. I've been focused so much on my disdain for their coach, Sean, and just trying to figure out if Bo Nix is overrated. And I still think he's kind of overrated, but he runs a lot better than he passes. Chuck, what do you think about that game?
Look, that game could have gone either way. It was just a hell of a football game. It really was. I mean, Washington had over 460 yards of offense. I mean, look, number 17 makes a difference on our offense. I don't care what nobody says.
Where's he from?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure you knew that.
And so the run, we ran the ball. We had, 130, 140 yards rushing the ball. It came down to that last play. If that defensive end doesn't jump up high and tip that ball, the play was wide open. They went, that was a 2-point conversion, and we would have won the game. Even when they took the touchdown back from us on that I thought it was a bad call that the ref made on the holding or whatever. We still came back and still scored the touchdown. So it could have gone either way. Hell of a football game. And, last year we won all those games. This year we're not winning them.
Yeah, tables turned a little bit. Larry, do you think Bo Nix is overrated?
I don't know how high he's rated. I think he's a pretty decent quarterback for a second-year quarterback. I have I don't know. I don't know if people are thinking he's that great, but he's a decent guy. He's a second-year player. I can't take anything away from him.
Hello, Mark. Thanks for checking in on us. Appreciate it.
What's up, Mark?
Hey, Mark.
What's up, Mark?
The thing about that game, it was almost like one of last year's games. When I say that, defense always struggles, but the offense seem to always hold the ball and have it at the right time. And they had the right play call. I mean, I'm sorry they kept going to fourth down before they could convert anything.
Right.
And they were converting a lot of fourth downs. But what was killing me, I'm looking at the quarterback. To me, he never puts anything on the ball. He always floats it real high. And sometimes it gets to the receivers. And this time, when I really needed him to float it high, he didn't throw it high enough.
Well,
He pump faked it, then threw it.
Boy, he could have just thrown one of them lollipops like he had been doing all
There's
day.
a reason Marcus Mariota is still a backup.
I tell you, David, he played as good as the starter could play. I mean, he played.
But
fine.
that's the problem, though. He's gonna break your heart at some point. He's just good enough to break your heart.
I'm not going to beat up on him, though. I think they played. That was the best game that they played in a long time.
The bulk of the game, they did play well, and he played well, except at the end.
Right.
Well, I would say
scored the touchdown.
And going down the stretch, they converted a lot of things going down the stretch.
Yeah. You got to put the ball up higher than that.
So here's the only thing I'll say about Marcus Mariota and other quarterbacks like him, other players like him. That what you saw in that last play was the difference between marquee players and average players. When it gets really on the line, those big players make big plays. Like Mendoza makes that throw, that receiver makes that catch, and the kid that I can't remember his name for the Commanders gets the 15-yard Odell Beckham lookalike catch. I mean, those big players make big plays when it counts like that, and that's the thing I think that separates really, really blue chip athletes and players from really good guys.
I don't say he's a blue chip athlete. I don't even think that about him, but he made a lot of plays. He threw the ball, one touchdown gets called back. Ertz drops one in the end zone. Then he hits Debo when they got to have it. I mean, he made some plays to get them there. Now,
by the way, he made a run with 12 seconds or 14 seconds.
I don't know who called that play.
I know, but he got the first down and he got out of bounds
and didn't get driven back, which was good.
Right.
So let me say this about Marcus Mariota.
He threw the ball.
I would take him over Daniel Jones right now.
Thank you.
Well, my thing is he made a lot of plays that night. Yeah. I mean,
he's pretty good, except in the end.
Well, I mean, the fact that they got there, I'll take my hat off to them.
How many games did they won?
4. 4 and 8.
He played well. He played well. I can't beat him up. I didn't like the last play, but he overcame a lot of adversity to get them to that position where they had a chance to win.
That's true. That's true.
And for him to get into Rico and Collinsworth's grill so hard that they said Mariota instead of Mariota, like that was a first. I don't think I heard that before. Say my name right.
Say my name.
Like, say my name right, brother. All right. Okay. So before we leave game highlights, is any other game that we didn't talk about, Larry, that you want to spotlight?
Well, I thought Green Bay and Detroit was a pretty good game. I thought that game could go either way, but Green Bay showed me something because I thought Detroit was going to win that. But Green Bay showed me something, and they're going to have to be reckoned with. I keep wanting to write them off, and we're in this season of no great teams, but they're hanging in there. So I got to give it to them. The Bears are the number one seed in the NFC.
David's boy, who I was ready to I told you, David, he's just average. He had a hell of a game, Jordan Love. He had 4 touchdown passes and no interceptions. And they beat a pretty good, Detroit Lions team. So kudos to those guys.
There's much to love about Jordan Love.
Nice. All right. So Chuck, staying with you. What other game did we not talk about that you thought was a game we should be?
I'll tell you what it is. It's the Ravens. I told y'all when they were 1-5, I said they're going to win that division because of that division. Now, they have the Cincinnati Bengals after winning 4 in a row. They got the Bengals in Baltimore, and they lose the game. Come on, man. And by the way, Lamar, who I love. No, he don't look right. I'm just telling y'all, not just running, but passing and decision making. He does not look right.
You think he's healthy?
I don't think he's healthy. But they won 4 games in a row with him.
Exactly.
Being in that since he's been back. but he certainly, I think his legs are gone, and I think that affects running and throwing.
Yeah,
I think he's still hurt.
Because I agree with you, Chuck, but I don't think it's just that he's incapable of making good decisions. I think he's a little dinged up. I don't think he's healthy.
He doesn't even move around in the pocket.
I'm from the school that if you're out there, you're playing, and I'm not gonna make excuses.
You ain't wrong. I mean, you ain't wrong.
He just doesn't look right.
Well, one thing. Go ahead.
No, you don't want. I'm coming right to you. Any game that you think we should have spotlighted?
Not really. I was just going to say about injuries.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when your body part hurts, you're injured. You know, just like I'm going to use an example from an old man, almost 70 years old, playing with a bad hip. My pickleball game was off today because my hip was hurting. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Well, I'm a second that. I'm a co-sign that because I walked my 2.5 miles a day and I got this paper cut on my middle finger, and it just I couldn't get right.
Well, let me jump on that. I'm meeting my knee doctor tomorrow morning at 11 because I can barely get up the steps. So I know what you're saying, guys. However, you get the Bengals, the worst defense in the National Football League. You've won 4 in a row. You're now back in control of your conference, and you let the Bengals beat you.
Hey, Chuck, they're going to lose some more games this year. They're going to lose some more games. You didn't think they was going to run the table. They're going to lose some games.
I actually did, Larry.
No, they're going to lose some more games.
I don't think so. I don't. They can't afford to. Like, for example, this weekend is a huge game. They play the Steelers. Both of them are 6-6 and leading that conference.
They'll probably beat them. But they'll lose. They're not going to run the rest of the season. They're going to lose another game or two this year. Everybody's doing that. The one game that we didn't mention was a Rams game.
That's another
Rams
one.
Last week I came on and said I'm about to pick a team that's distinguished themselves from everybody.
Yeah,
and they took a bite.
To your point, Larry, the Rams didn't play bad. They played well. They just got
Carolina some credit.
Carolina made a lot of big plays on them.
Carolina's going to be in the playoffs.
They're 7-6.
Yeah, they made a lot of big plays.
They're going to be in the playoffs.
And their quarterback played well.
This is the perfect topic. Larry, I'm coming right to you. This is the time of season when teams start peaking and other teams start tanking. Who do you think are the top 2 teams, Larry, that are peaking right now, that are starting to show, boy, they may be a problem in the playoffs?
Well, the way this season is gone, I think I better answer just who's playing well now. Because
let's add that caveat right now. Today,
Texas is looking very good the last couple of weeks, and I'm not going to back off the Rams. I'm going to stick with them. But those 2 teams are looking good.
All right, David, who are your top 2 hot teams right now?
The hottest team in the NFL right now are the New England Patriots. And the next hottest team is a team I hate mentioning. It's the Dallas Cowboys. Those are the 2 peaking teams at this point. But Larry's point is accurate. Right now, things can change. We have 6 more games to go?
No.
5 more games to go.
Chuck, who are your top 2 hot teams right now?
I'd say the Texans and the Jag together. And then I also want to reiterate Dallas. Dallas has won 4 out of the last 5 or something like that. And so has the Jags. And the Texans has won 4 in a row. Yeah. 4 in a row. Yeah.
So
and I'm sorry, David, because both the Texans and the Jags are in your division. And you guys
I'm prepared for disaster.
Well, there are obviously, as always, with real fellas talk sports, there are no right and wrong answers. And I'm telling you, I could go with either one of the 2 teams you all mentioned. I went with the Patriots and the Bears. I just think those 2 teams right now.
The Patriots have won 10 in a row, so I guess that's the definition of peaking.
Exactly. All right. Let's flip the coin over. Larry, this is the time when somebody goes in a downward spiral and starts circling the toilet. Who are the top 2 teams circling the toilet for you?
What teams haven't played well lately that were playing well?
That were playing well.
Okay, so I'll have to say Indianapolis and Philadelphia. those are two teams that started off real well. They looked like they were going to run away with it, and people are catching up with them. They haven't caught up with them yet, but those are the two teams that I would say should have had a caution light on.
Those are my exact two. David, who are your two?
Colts. I hate to say it, Colts and the Chiefs. Chiefs are not going to be in the playoffs this year.
I tend to agree. Chuck.
I'd say the Colts. Let's make that unanimous. Mm-hmm. And I would put Pittsburgh. My second one is Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. It ain't working in Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. It just ain't working. And they have a big game, as I mentioned earlier, against the Ravens this weekend in Baltimore. It's going to be a big game for both those teams.
Can I just say this one thing about Pittsburgh? And I know Mike Tomlin's catching a lot of hell. Yeah. But Pittsburgh would have been better off not letting Russell Wilson go. He would have been much better this year than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers stinks the place up. He's terrible. He's terrible. Worse than anything Russell Wilson played last year. That's my thought.
I don't know. I don't disagree that, but they had Justin Fields too. And
Justin Fields is worse.
Could at least run.
Oh, please. He got
Russ can't play no more, David. Stop.
He can play better than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is terrible.
Maybe a teeny bit.
But maybe a teeny bit is a bit.
Well, Justin could at least run, but that's not really their problem. They can't tackle. They're not stopping nobody. Their defense is not doing their job either. So I don't know what's going on in Pittsburgh.
I think to your point, quarterback. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Larry.
They need a quarterback, and they should have kept Pickens.
No kidding. Definitely.
So that is the headline right there for me. I mean, Pickens and Pickens had a lot of drops, and he has gone to Dallas. He has gotten born again, man. This guy doesn't drop anything. He mosses people left and right. I'm telling you, he's something special. But I felt bad for Tomlin, man. I really felt bad for him. But I thought he handled it as well as anybody could. Is that, you know what? The fans are right. They deserve more. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
What else can you say?
Before we leave the football topic, and I want to throw one other thing in. So, because I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I told you guys earlier, Minnesota was stupid. Yeah. Not the dumbest move I've ever seen to let Sam Darnold go and go with that quarterback situation.
You've been on that train.
They were 14-3. They were 14-3.
There's no way to project Sam Darnold.
That's not true, David.
There's no way to project him. He had one good year. One good year.
You can franchise your quarterback. You don't have to play your rookie.
They had to find out that their rookie quarterback is a bum. They had to find that out.
Why did they have to find out this year?
Because you can't keep a number one draft pick on the bench for a couple of years.
All the time.
Well, that's the Packers. The Packers are smarter than most teams.
It was the dumbest.
I think too many people were victims of the moment type, and just when Sam Darnold had a bad game or a couple of bad games toward the end of the year, they seem to have amnesia about the rest of the season that he had.
Well, I mean, but they were not going to keep Sam Darnold beyond that 1 year anyway. No, they weren't. They were not.
That wasn't their plan, but he actually should have. I thought they should have thought about it.
Hold on, David. Hold on. Remember when Seattle spent all this free agent money and they got this quarterback from Green Bay to come to Seattle? And then
I remember that. Russell Wilson beat him out.
Right. That wasn't the plan. That wasn't blah, 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 whatever you're talking about.
Well, it doesn't matter. The problem is Sam Darnold had too many years of inadequate play. Had he been a rookie, had he been somebody on the upcome, that would have been a different story.
Well, how's it working out for him, David?
Well, it's working out poorly. But you can't. I'm just telling you, when you draft that high, you got to give the guy a chance to play. They found out that he can't play.
Wow. I think at the end of the day, McCarthy was just a bad bet. I mean, it was a bad bet.
Yeah, that's what I think so too.
But they had to find out that he couldn't play.
They didn't have to. You keep saying
that. Yes, they did.
Yes,
they did.
Well, I think the other thing, and I don't know, I can't remember which one of you all said it, but this whole recent memory thing Sam Darnold had a really tough losing playoff game, and that seemed to be the thing that he got judged by when that was not his full body of work. His body of work was much better than that. And
14-3.
Yeah, I think they made a kind of a hasty decision. So,
and he had 3 or 4 bad years leading up to that.
So what? You got Daniel Jones. You wanted to make Daniel Jones an MVP earlier in the year.
I wasn't making him an MVP.
You were high on him.
I called him Indiana Jones, but Indiana Jones was a bad movie.
Please.
All right, let's talk about coaches. Now, we were talking about coaches before the show, and I think there's some coaches legitimately on the bubble. And I don't think Mike Tomlin is one of them. Let's get that out of the way right now. Larry, are there any coaches you think are on the bubble?
There's probably a lot of them. And I guess the guy in Pittsburgh, given Pittsburgh's history of not firing coaches, he may be in good shape, but obviously the fans are disappointed in him. And Philadelphia's coach is lucky that they're close to just winning the Super Bowl because they might be looking at him differently too. But I'm sure it's even more. I can't even think right off the top of my head right now. But I'll just leave with those two. Possibly.
All right, David, what do you think?
Unfortunately, Mike Tomlin's on the hot seat. The fans are riled up, and the media of all things, and now Ben Roethlisberger calling for him to part ways. Look, Mike Tomlin is one of the great coaches in the history of the NFL. He should still be the Pittsburgh Steelers coach, but I think there's a movement to move him out, and they'll probably reach a so-called mutual decision. And Mike Tomlin will go coach the Giants. John Harbaugh should be on the hot seat. He and Mike Tomlin are like coaching twins. They've been coaching almost the exact same length of time. They've been successful. They've won Super Bowls, but they haven't won anything in a while. So at some point, I think those are the two guys that are on the hot seat for me.
All right, Chuck, what do you think?
Well, I think in the Pittsburgh situation, I think it's going to be a mutual thing. In other words, if Tomlin wants to coach that team another year, they got to let him do it, and that's their style. So I don't put him on the okay. I don't want to put that over there. The person who should be on the hot seat, really, and I would fire him today, is the Atlanta Falcon head coach. Whoever that guy is coaching the Atlanta Falcons with all that talent they got to be 4-8. No, he got to go.
Come on.
He's terrible. He's terrible.
He's not terrible.
He's absolutely trash.
Yeah, you love that word trash.
What about Pete Carroll, Chuck?
I can't. He's doing a great job.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't ask you that.
Larry, he's doing a great job.
Let me be Chuck Snowden.
I hope he stays.
I think Pete Carroll should play my son more and should be fired.
He's been playing his son.
Let me step out the room.
Yeah, since that's where Charles is making his move. He's the one that's on my never fire him list. So
but seriously, seriously, guys. You think the Atlanta Falcons coach is doing a good job and doesn't deserve to be on the hot seat?
They've been very inconsistent this year.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess you got to point to somebody.
He's had a head coaching opportunity with Tampa. You got to give him some time. He's not a bad coach.
Yeah. So for me, I think Zach Taylor. The Bengals are so cheap that they're too cheap to fire anybody because they don't want to pay anybody to hire anybody, right? So he'll probably be safe, but I think he's on the bubble. Stefanski with the Browns, like his car should be double parked running. I mean, don't even turn the engine off. Just let the car run. And he thinks that he's snuck away. Now, I hate to say this stuff because these are hard times in a hard land. I don't want to see anybody unemployed. But the NFL is a transient league, right? That's just the way it goes. But Mike McDaniel, come on, man. I mean, the program is the whole franchise is in disarray. I just think he's a waste. All right,
these coaches, it ain't gonna be a hard time because they got millions of dollars. They'll be okay.
They played a little bit better, Miami. It's not surprisingly. They played a little bit
better. That wouldn't save him for me. That wouldn't save him. All right, so top 5 teams. David, who are your top 5 NFC teams this week?
Okay. Cowboys, Eagles, Rams, Seahawks, and the Bears.
Larry.
So you say NFC teams.
NFC.
Okay. So
Wait, just break it up.
Yeah, we're gonna break it out this year.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Bears, the Packers, the Rams, Seahawks, and 49ers.
All right. Chuck, NFC.
I'm gonna say the Rams, the Bears, Seattle, the 49ers. God, I don't know who the other team would be.
You didn't mention the Bears.
I did. So the Rams, the Bears, Seattle, the 49ers, and Carolina. Why not? What the hell?
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
I mean, listen, they're pretty hot. So I got Bears, Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, and Packers. I think the Packers are sleepers, man.
That's really the team. It's the
I think they're
Packers.
sleepers.
Not bad.
All right, Larry, AFC, top 5.
Ooh.
AFC. Okay, I'm gonna do the Patriots, the Broncos. Let's see who else. That's kind of hard over there.
I know over there.
It is.
I guess I'll throw Buffalo in there. I'll throw the Colts in there. And I guess I got to go with the wow, they're really Chargers.
Many good teams over there.
All right, David.
Patriots, Denver, Buffalo, Houston, and the Jags.
Wow. All right, Chuck.
Okay, I'm going to go the Jags, the Texans, New England, Denver, and Buffalo.
All right. So I got Patriots, Broncos, Jaguars, Bills, and Colts. I can't give up on the Colts yet. I can't give up on them.
I've given up on them.
I can't give up on them just yet.
Until
All right,
next
time
week.
for some trivia. I got one trivia question for you guys. All right. Which team went from worst to first and won the Super Bowl in the same season? And there are 4 teams, 4 different years, from worst to first, and won the Super Bowl in that season.
So wait a minute.
Worst to first.
They had a bad year the year before. And next
They
year
were the worst. And then next year they went to first and they won the Super Bowl that year.
Rams.
Yeah, let's go with
St.
you.
Louis Rams.
Okay, that's one of them.
Oh, you say there's 4 different teams?
There's 4 different teams that did this. The Rams is one of them, David. What else?
Wow.
Let's see. I should know this.
That's kind of tough.
It is kind of tough.
Buccaneers?
Nope.
Okay.
From worst to first.
What you got, Chuck?
The Chiefs?
Nope. All right, let me call them out for you.
Tell us, wait a minute, before AFC or NFC?
All 3 NFC, 1 AFC.
Okay.
From worst to first.
Went from worst to first. And
Well, at
one.
least I got one of them right.
I know Gibbs started off one time 0-5, and then they went on a run, but I don't know what they
So I'll
did.
give you a clue. It's the 1999 Rams that David mentioned, and they were the first one to do it. All of them are years after that.
Wow. So we got 2 more NFC and 1 AFC, right?
Not good at this.
Yes. Yes.
From worst to first.
Worst to first, and they won the Super Bowl.
49ers?
Nope. All right. The 1999 St. Louis Rams, the 2001 New England Patriots, 2009 New Orleans Saints, and the 2017 Philadelphia Eagles, from worst to first.
Wow.
I would not have gotten the Eagles.
That recently either.
Yeah, that was recent. And that was pretty recent. All right, college football.
Hey, Greg, that was a good one, Greg. You had it.
Very good.
You stumped the crew, except for David got one.
I'm gonna always get one.
And that was the first one. Yeah, that was good. That was great. That was a tough question. So rivalry weekend, it was pretty anticlimactic, with the exception of the Commonwealth Bowl, in which the Cavaliers took care of the Virginia Tech. Any observations on rivalry weekend that you all want to bring up? I didn't think there was anything. I thought the Michigan never really challenged Ohio State. That was billed to be a big game, and they never really challenged. Larry, what do you think?
Well, that game wasn't, but I'll tell you a rivalry game that I used to attend. I haven't been for a while. That was great. It took place in New Orleans, the Bayou Classic. When you throw the records out with Southern and Grambling, Southern came in at 1-10.
Yeah.
Grambling was 7-4. 28-27 game. Went right down to the end. Great game. I don't even have to mention the halftime. If you ever see it, the Battles of the Band, fantastic. And they had me, at my age, I don't know what I'll do down there. I guess there's some people my age down there, but they had me reminiscing about the days when I used to go down there and attend that. Great game. And all I was sitting back saying, rivalry, they always say, we throw the records out. And I'm seeing a 1-10 team come in there. And I'm like, maybe they can give them a good game. And they actually pulled it out, 28-27.
So I went to the Bayou Classic one time. My nephew was playing for Southern. And I got to tell you, it is an electric atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Halftime, do not get out of your seat at halftime. Do not leave. Go get something to eat in the third quarter, but do not. It was nobody's saying you got to be there. There's no words for it. David.
They aired that game on Channel 4 on NBC today.
That's what I watched.
Well, one rivalry game that needs to cease is the old Oaken Bucket game. Purdue and Indiana. Purdue is just pathetic. How many points has Indiana scored on Purdue the last 2 years? 100 points?
66 and 56.
That's pretty sad.
What is that, 112 points? Is my math right?
That's pretty sad.
You know what I thought?
That's pathetic.
In terms of rivalry games, two things that jumped out at me. Ohio State, I got to tell you, they're strong. Ohio State is strong. And we were saying on the show a couple of weeks ago that for Ohio State to be the number one team in the country, we just don't get to see them that often. I don't know. They work with them on. I don't know. We didn't see it, but I watched them closely against Michigan. They're strong. But the game that really caught my attention because I think they're overrated is how Texas beat Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M. I've been saying this for weeks.
Frauds.
I think I agree with you, David. I think they're overrated. You look at their schedule. They didn't beat nobody.
Frauds. I knew they would let folks down eventually.
Yeah.
And I was reminded once again that Arch Manning is a much better runner than he is pass. He threw some great passes in that game, but that kid can run. I mean, it's not that he's fast, but he actually has good sense when it comes to running the ball. He has really good field visibility, man. I like that in him, but I don't think he's the quarterback that they were thinking he is.
Hey, did you see that? Did you see that one play in college football where the running back he turned the corner, he went for a touchdown, and the last 10 yards of the touchdown run, he kind of did a mini high step, like a mini high step, and they called a penalty on the play.
Yeah. I thought that was ridiculous.
I thought that was for taunting or something.
Yeah.
Because he was high stepping. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't even like an over the top high. I couldn't believe the call.
Yeah, these 18, 19, 20 something. I mean, they're adrenaline. It's an exciting time, man. You gotta let them celebrate and have some fun. I thought that was ridiculous.
Right,
so you saw the college, the CFP bracket. When you look at those brackets, if you had to pick two teams that will play in the national championship game today, if the season is today and all the ball, everything's over, who do you think will play in the national championship game today, David?
I don't know. I do know this. It will be a Big Ten team against an SEC team. I know that's really, I'm working really hard to come up with that. But that's what I see. It could be Ohio State or Indiana versus Georgia or
Alabama.
No, it won't be Alabama. Georgia or Oklahoma.
They got about 5 teams in the top 10 for the SEC. So
they half the tournament is the SEC. It's a big deal.
One of the teams that's not going to make it, Vanderbilt. I think they're as good as anybody in the ACC.
They might make it. They might. They don't have another game to play.
Yeah.
A lot would have to happen. Top 10, are they? I don't think they're in the top 10.
A lot would have to happen.
No, but Larry, they're 12th.
Yeah, 12th. A lot would have to happen.
I thought Miami was 12th.
Miami's 11. Miami's 11.
Okay, I'm looking at a different poll because I got them at 12, and I was wondering they got Notre Dame at 10.
Don't look at the polls. Look at what the committee.
I figured Miami's not going to make it because they're not in the ACC championship game, and they were ranked number 12.
I don't know yet about that.
They're not going to take the ACC champion?
No, they're going to take the ACC champion. But if
No, they're
BYU,
not. There's no guarantee that they will take the ACC
Yes, they
champion.
are.
No,
They're
I thought
no,
they had an automatic bid.
no,
It's
no,
automatic,
no. It's not. It's the top 5 conference teams
they're
that
one of the top five
are
conferences.
ranked. It's possible the ACC might not have any teams in it. It's possible. It's possible that there are 2 group of 5 schools that will play in the tournament.
Hold on a minute. So you're saying if an ACC team is not in the top 10 rankings,
Not
and they're
not
the champion of the ACC based on the championship game, they will not get an automatic bid?
no, that's right. The only thing that's automatic is that they're the top 5 conference championship teams are guaranteed. The highest rated conference championship teams, which could include a couple of group of 5 schools. And in this case, it's possible that we could see 2 group of 5 schools instead of just 1.
Huh. Okay. All right, Larry, riddle me this. Who are the top 3 Heisman candidates in your view right now today? Top 3.
I got to pass on that. I'm not as familiar with him. I've been hearing about the guy from Indiana, but I haven't seen enough to comment.
All right, David.
I just have one. It's going to be it's going to be a blowout. Fernando Mendoza is going to win the Heisman easily.
Okay, Chuck.
Mendoza, Justin Saying, the quarterback from Ohio State, and the Love, the quarterback, the running back from Notre Dame. I think those
Jeremiah Love, yeah.
Jeremiah Love. I think those 3 will be in it. But I'm telling you, I don't think there's a better player. Honestly, I don't think there's a better player in the country than the little quarterback from Vanderbilt.
Diego Pavia.
I don't think there's a better player. I don't.
Yeah. So my 3 were Fernando Mendoza, which I do agree with David. I do believe he will win it, but I think Diego Pavia will get some votes, and I also think Jeremiah Love will get some votes. They're starting to mention Julian Sayans' name in the Heisman conversation, Ohio State quarterback, but I don't think he'll be in the mix.
He doesn't impress me. I mean, as
He's
a
not
great,
impressive.
he's a very good quarterback, young quarterback.
Yeah.
Young.
All right.
But he just doesn't impress me.
So anything to close out college football?
We're going to talk about Lane Kiffin.
So let's. I'm gonna talk about Lane Kiffin in my closing comments. But so is it right or wrong that the way this whole thing went down? Right or wrong?
I just don't think there's no right or wrong way to do it. I just don't, and I'm okay with it.
All right, David.
If Lane Kiffin wasn't an asshole and a turncoat and a liar, he would be coaching. But he's a jerk. And so I agree with Ole Miss. Initially, I thought, give Lane a chance. But I thought about who he is, what kind of clown he is, what kind of a liar he is. No, the right decision is made. He shouldn't coach that team.
All right, Larry.
So is that the question? What is right or wrong? That's what I wasn't following.
So is it right that he's leaving Mississippi, Ole Miss, just as they are likely to be in the CFP playoffs, and the way he's abandoned them? And there's some controversy around the athletic director said, no, if you take the job, you go. He's saying also that the players are saying they should let him coach, and the players are saying we didn't say that. He's saying that. So there's a lot of swirl around this whole thing. But my question is it right or wrong for him to leave Mississippi at this point in the season to take another job?
Well, this happens all the time for smaller schools, and nobody makes a big deal out of it. And matter of fact, when they go to a larger school, everybody wishes them well. So this has happened to a large school where he's being outdone by another large school that happens to be in his division. So I don't see any difference in it other than, the notoriety that it's getting. Yeah. Most of the time when it's, if he was leaving James Madison, everybody be saying, oh, it's great, he's got a good job next year, so right. It is. It's kind of bad overall, but I don't think it's unique.
Okay. All right. So let's make a hard left to the NBA. Chris Paul has been given his Samsonite luggage with no wheels and told hit the road, sport. David, what are your thoughts on that?
Bye. Goodbye. Don't let the doorknob hit you in the ass. Chris Paul, He hadn't won a damn thing. Bye-bye. He's a nice player, 21 years in the league, I believe. Great guard, but he does good commercials. I'll leave it at that.
That he does. That he does. Larry, what are your thoughts on the Chris Paul scenario?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of information. I heard that he and Tyronn Lue hadn't been speaking for a while. So I think when we get down to this situation, Tyronn Lue probably didn't want him around. Wasn't really doing that much this year. He's had a great career. One time he's probably the best point guard, at least for a couple of years in the league. Things just open, and he announced he was going to retire after the end of this year anyway. So I don't think it's that big a deal.
Yeah. The difference between him and me is when I told the folks I was going to retire, I was hoping for a package. He wasn't hoping for a package. I was praying for a package. Chuck, what are your thoughts on
I think the bigger issue with the Clippers, they've lost 14 out of their last 16, and they got a guy named Harden on that team. And I always think where there's smoke, there's fire with that guy. If they don't want him there, and he wasn't really contributing much, and it was his last time around the NBA, so to speak, I don't care. I mean, what I really care about is the fact that they've lost 14 out of the last 16.
True. All right, so let's talk about the Detroit Pistons. I'm telling you, the Detroit Pistons they're something special. This kid, Cade Cunningham, is in full beast mode. Larry, what are your thoughts on the Detroit Pistons and Cade Cunningham and Bickerstaff and the whole crew?
I love their coach. I think every place he's gone, he's done a good job. I thought he did a good job when he was in Cleveland. But he's got these young guys. I think we talked about how all of us agreed that they should get kind of robbed in the playoffs last year against the Knicks. They got another year's experience. I don't know if they're still a little too young, but they are playing very well right now. And the East is kind of beaten up with a couple of teams having injuries. I look for them to I wouldn't be surprised if they came out of the East, though. I think they could play with anybody that's there.
And they play physical, too. They really play. They can score and they're off, but they play a physical game. They don't mind banging it around down in the paint. David, what are your thoughts on the Pistons?
The Pistons are for real at this point in the season. They played well last year. They've got a good coach. I agree with Larry. They could win the East. They could come out and play in the finals.
Yeah, the East is a little suspect. I watched the Knicks the other night, and honestly, they're no better than they were last year. They're like a continuation of the same team from last year. They're no better.
Too much one-on-one
team
play.
that they had last year.
Too much one-on-one play from the Knicks.
You got to get somebody. Chuck, what are your thoughts on the Pistons?
I think the Pistons are tough. The Pistons are kind of a throwback a little bit. They drive the ball a lot. They don't all sit around and shoot threes or whatever. They dribble and they drive. And then they play hard and tough-minded. The guy Duran, the center, I think he's like 21. And I think Cade Cunningham is 24. I mean, they're young. They got a nucleus. They picked up that guy Robinson from Miami. He knocks down some shots for them. I'm impressed. I'm very, very impressed. And I don't even know who them guys are.
Yeah, they are like the no-name killers, man. They really are. They're really solid, other than Cade Cunningham.
Right.
All right. Last thing with NBA, don't look now, but the Lakers are having a really good year. They're 15-4. Luka and Austin Reeves are really carrying the load. Right. Can the Lakers sustain this level of play, Larry?
Yeah, I think it's a bunch of teams that are kind of bunched up there that are trailing OKC. It's about 3 or 4 teams. That it's very competitive over there, very different in the East. Yeah. But I think the Lakers are amongst the best teams there. As we were talking prior to the show, Luka Doncic is having a great season. Yeah, LeBron James has come off the injured list, and he's added to the team. Austin Reeves has played strong this year. I think they'll be competitive the whole year, provided they stay healthy.
Exactly. Healthy is the key. David, what are your thoughts?
He loves the Lakers, by the way.
The Lakers are my favorite team. Whatever. No, the Lakers are playing well. And the moment, as soon as they transition from being a LeBron James team,
they have.
When he's not even suited up, they'll be really good. Because Luka is the star of the team. Austin Reeves is playing really, really well. And I don't think anybody expected that from him ultimately, even though he's a pretty decent player. But, God bless it. We kiss the Lakers' ass all the time anyway, so let's just keep kissing.
There we go. We'll close it out with you, Chuck. What are your thoughts on the
I
Lakers?
knew he was going to get that in at the end. Everything David said, everything Larry said, only person I would add is Ayton, the big center that got from Portland, has helped them out as well. So, LeBron had a bad night the other night, but they're good. They're a good team, and it's going to be interesting out west this year.
All right, let's go to closing comments. Larry, you have closing comment?
Yeah, one. Just on the day before Thanksgiving, they had an event at the Care First Arena over in the grounds of St. Elizabeth. For those of you who don't know, that's where the Mystics play and the Wizards' actual G team plays. They got another G team that plays downtown, but I'm talking about the real DC Go-Go. But they had it's HBCU in DC, the first annual, and it's really a tribute to Blake Bozeman. He's the son of Todd Bozeman, who unfortunately was a victim of gun violence in DC. Yeah. So Todd Bozeman and his wife were there for the first time. They were able to speak out, and they had a game between Virginia State University, my alma mater, and Delaware State. I had to have a nephew that went there, and my nephew's also from Southeast. I want to say it was such a great event. I got there was no students, almost all alumni. Then it hit me. This is the day before Thanksgiving, and they're probably going home to eat some turkey, that. Great turnout. The game was good. Virginia State won 62-58, close game and everything, just like I like it. Plus the team I wanted to won. But they had great speakers. There's a lady, and unfortunately I can't remember her name. She's from Southeast, went to North Carolina State, played basketball. Huh. She has a Stop the Violence with little kids, which I thought was a great idea. Kids in elementary school, keeping them from even falling into that trap. Blake Bozeman talked about it. I have a clip that I meant to give to Dave because they had some young ladies doing jump ropes, double dutch at halftime, which was amazing to me.
I love that. Yeah,
they had the band from Baloo was there, right, locally, a few blocks away from there, and then they had a band from out here in Prince George's County, Flowers. The bands were appreciative of each other. It was a great event for a great cause, and I'll just say next year, look for it. Day before Thanksgiving.
I will. Being an HBCU alumni, I will look for it. I'd love to go to that.
It was a nice event. I was impressed with them.
That's cool. David, closing comments.
Just a quick one. I'm just going to mention the word relegation. And those who follow soccer or football, European football, world football, know that teams get relegated to a different division and don't play at the highest level. Group of 5 schools, there are a number of schools and leagues that are better. For instance, the American Conference is better than the ACC this year. And the ACC should be relegated to being a group of 5 league. I'll leave it at that. Because there are a lot of teams in the group of 5 that can kick butt if they played regularly against the Power 4 teams. And that's my closing comment.
Ooh. Chuck, closing comments.
All right, I'm going to piggyback on the ACC, but in a different way. So University of Virginia is playing Duke this Saturday for the ACC championship. The reason I bring that up is Carla Williams and Nina King are the athletic directors at those two schools. Wow. They're Black female athletic directors at those two schools. Nina oversees 27 sporting events at Duke. She's been there for 5 years. Carla has been there since 2017. In her watch, Virginia won the NCAA basketball tournament. This is her second ACC championship game. And there's the only other Black female athletic director in the Power 5 conferences. Her name is Candace Lee. She's at Vanderbilt. And as you know, Vanderbilt's had a great football season this year, had a good one last year. Their basketball team is on the come. Their athletic department is as stable as it's ever been. So shout out to both Candace, Carla and Nina, 3 Black female athletic directors.
Wow, that's amazing. Big shout out. That's huge.
Amen.
All right, so my closing comments, we're all focused on college sports tonight. So my closing comments around Lane Kiffin and his move to now the views of Greg Finner do not reflect the views of Real Fellas Talk Sports. Let's get that out of the way. It is absolutely wrong for any college. LSU should not have been allowed to even approach Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss during the season and in the place that they're in. There's a window, a transfer, a portal window for players. For every sport, they have this little window that's the only time they can get in the transfer portal. They can't just get up and go anytime they feel like it. Student athletes have these specific windows, and college coaches don't. There is no rule by the NC2A that regulates when another school can approach a current active coach under contract. So once again, the NC2A is the old 1950s parenting rule: do as I say, not as I do. Players are the last consideration in every decision that the NC2A makes. It's about money and it's about the coaches. In my humble opinion, that needs to change. No way Lane Kiffin should have been able to move at the point that they're in. That destroys those kids' season. Those are college athletes. They could with the right coaching and the right momentum, they could turn upsets. They could find themselves in the college football championship. But no, Lane Kiffin has to talk about how he had a decision that he had to make, and it was an offer he couldn't refuse. $13 million a year? Come on, man. All right, that's it for tonight for Real Fellas Talk Sports. I want to thank all the fellas. Great night of sports talk. Everybody have a great night, and thank you all for joining.
Good job.